What up, peeps? Welcome to another show of Being. So today we've got a great guest with us all the way from the US of America. You know, he's a great man of God, he's a minister, he's a preacher through his singing, and he goes by the name of Stephen Hurd. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's an honor.
What do we refer to you as? Is it minister, pastor? Please tell us.
Pastor. I'm just Steve. Yeah, I'm just Steve. I'm not into a lot of titles.
Okay.
I respect them, but I'm just Steve.
All right, awesome. All right, so the next question that I want to ask you, in terms of your upbringing, how was that, and how did you get to the point that you are right now? In terms of your singing, how did you get to this place?
Well, I am the youngest of four.
Okay.
But I actually function now as the oldest.
Okay.
Most recently, my father passed away, and it was really difficult because my father and I had an estranged relationship growing up because he and my mother's marriage was not good.
Okay.
They weren't friends. It wasn't but a bunch of fighting and stuff like that. It just wasn't good. And so my mother died very young. She died in 1987. Okay. I was in my second year of college. And so I've always been estranged from my family to a degree, very introverted kind of person. And I think that is as a result of early on in life, I was molested by a friend of our family's. And I've always been kind of a recluse because I felt like it was something that I did that was wrong. But I was mad at my dad because I felt like my dad knew everything. And I'm like, you knew this and you didn't fix it. It wasn't until I was like 16, 17 years old that I found out he did not know.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I was probably in college that, I grew up being intimidated by people, or I wanted to be validated by people. I really wanted to be liked by people. But it was probably in my college years when I realized I don't have to be validated by you, and it's okay that you don't like me.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
That's actually very true.
Yeah.
But I think you realize that later in life, honestly,
But when I got it,
yeah.
it was an epiphany for me. It was almost like the lights came on, and it was like one of those movies when the whole thing said, oh. You heard choir singing, and strings, orchestra, and I was like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah,
and I fell in love with me. I love the fact that my life has really been orchestrated. The good and the bad has been orchestrated by God. Yeah. His hand has always been on my life.
Awesome. I think one question that I want to ask you, so personally, just like you mentioned, my parents also were divorced, and I lost my sister in 2010. From your point of view, how did that affect you, and how did you conquer to get to the place that you are right now? Yes, it is difficult. It is something that actually, it kind of, your upbringing is different to the upbringing of those that actually have both parents in your life, and then actually losing one of your parents. How did that affect you as a person, and how have you taken the step to not be like your parents were, and to ensure that you conquer as well?
Well, just for clarity, my parents never divorced.
Oh, okay.
My mother died.
Oh, okay.
And when she died, although she died of a disease in her lungs, I felt like my father killed her.
Oh, okay.
Because she died of a broken heart.
Okay.
And so I had a lot of awe in my heart. This hatred was just brewing in my heart. This I'm going to pay you back kind of thing. And I had plotted my father's demise. And there was a lady who was in my life. Her name was Barbara Jean Boyd. She was like my Christian mom.
Yeah.
This lady was so in tune to my life. I was a junior high school, and when I first met her, her son was one of my friends at school.
Okay.
When I first met her, this lady told me back then who I would be today.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So she was so in tune to my life. When I had this hatred in my heart for my dad, she called me and told me about it. I'd never articulated it.
Okay.
And so she dealt with me and worked with me for 3 years, teaching me how to pray to get that cancer out of my spirit, out of my heart. And it ultimately, the Lord turned my heart so much so that I fell in love with my dad.
Awesome.
Fell in love with him. So as I grew up and I matured and I became an adult, I worked to do for my dad what I would have done for my mom.
Awesome.
And so every success that I had, I made sure my father participated.
These albums that you have, which is your most favorite track and why?
So it would have to be. I did my second project is called In the Overflow.
Okay.
That song Overflow, or the song My Destiny from the Destiny Project.
Okay.
Hear my plea, reveal to me the mysteries and the plan you have for me. This way. Primarily because they both speak to seasons in my life. You know, when I first started doing music ministry professionally, there was such a prophetic edge in my music, just declaring and speaking life and challenging people to come into the presence of God. And so that kind of gave me the apostolic edge of authority.
Yeah.
The Destiny song came in the years when I kept hearing the term destiny everywhere I went. And so I was kind of asking God, so what's my destiny? What's my assignment?
Yeah.
And I ran across Jeremiah 29:11. And one morning I was asleep and my TV was on and I heard this preacher preaching about potholes of destiny. And I was just like, I literally sat up in the bed and looked over at the TV and I was like, okay, because I kept hearing this word and I lay back down, and then maybe 2 more TV shows later, I heard this lady talk about some message about destiny. And I was just like, okay, God, so what are you saying to me?
Yeah.
And I literally started probing the what destiny is. And I was asking people, well, what's your destiny? And I walked into this, for me, it was a clarity of what my assignment in life was. The plan, the plot, the place that I'm supposed to be, all of that kind of stuff.
Okay, awesome. All right, so the last question that I have for you, basically. So after the conversations we've had, you've mentioned that you lost one of your parents at a young age, and you have faced opposition within your life. What advice would you give to those out there that possibly could have lost one of their parents and are at the place where they don't necessarily know their purpose? What advice could you give to them to help them conquer to get to a place? That's
a great question. I think that every situation that happens in our life, even the devastation of losing a parent at a teenager's age, your responsibility to their life legacy is to succeed.
Yeah.
No matter what's going on, no matter how bad they were, no matter how good they were, there's something in their life that molded your greatness. And if you have to peel it away to find it, that's your plot in life. That's your lot. That's the thing you have to do to get to the assignment of success. Whatever it takes to do it, that's your job. Because everybody is not all bad.
That's true.
Every situation is not all bad. And I believe that every situation that God allows in our life is a teaching opportunity. So your responsibility becomes, how can I take the moment and then learn from it?
Okay. All right, awesome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Man, thank you so much. I wish you good success.
It's such a great pleasure having you in South Africa.
It's my
Hope
honor.
to see you soon.
Absolutely.
And definitely I'll make it a plan to come back.
Come on, man. Come to the U.S.
Thank you very much.
Blessings to you.
Awesome. God bless.